Chapter 3 Linear Growth Trading Time for Dollars. Work all day, live on hay. When you die, pie in the sky. Joe Hill, 1920s union organizer. I used to tell people in my seminars that most workers are on 40 by 40 by 40 plan. They work 40 hours a week for 40 years, and then when they retire, they get a retirement dinner and a $40 watch. But like a lot of things in our fast changing world, the 40 by 40 by 40 plan is outdated. Today, most of us are on the 50 by 50 by 50 by 50 plan. Nowadays, we work 50 hours a week, 50 weeks a year for 50 years, and then retire on 50% of what we can't live on today. Time for money treadmill. The 50 by 50 by 50 by 50 plan is a classic example of income creation because it's based on linear growth. The math to calculate linear growth income is very simple. Hourly wage into numbers of hour worked is equal to income. The definition of linear is the outcome is proportional to the input. In layman's terms, that means you get out what you put in. Nothing more, nothing less. In linear income growth, 1 unit of time equals 1 unit of money. As a result, the only way to increase income based on linear growth is to work more hours or get a rise. Now, at first glance, linear growth seems pretty fair. It rewards people who are paid a good hourly salary and are willing to put in the hours. But the problem with workers earning income based on linear growth is that they'll always have a cap on their income, no matter how much they earn per hour. The painter and the professional. To best illustrate the limitation of linear growth, let's look at two acquaintances of mine with two very different occupations, a house painter and a doctor. The painter's name is Gary, and he owns a small painting and wallpapering business near my home in Clearwater, Florida. Gary works hard. He is on the job early and he works until dark. He works weekend and when he can. When Gary bids out a job, he figures his rate at $12 per hour. But after factoring in travel time, trips to the hardware store, and so on, it's probably closer to $10 an hour. If Gary is lucky enough to work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, here's what he will earn in a year. 1 into $10 is equal to $10 per hour. 60 hours per week is equal to $600 per week. 50 weeks per year is equal to $30,000 per year. Now, $30,000 per year is nothing to sneeze at. A lot of people would love to make $30,000 a year, but that's the most Gary will gross in a great year. When one good job follows another. But look at the price Gary has to pay for a great year. He only gets to spend 1 day a week with his wife and kids. He'll never make more than $30,000 a year, no matter how hard he works. He seldom gets time off, and when he does, he is too tired or too broke to enjoy it. Here's the worst part of working for income based on linear growth. Gary only gets paid once for the work he's done, which means once he gets his last paycheck, he's back on the time for money treadmill. Professionals, nothing more than high priced house painters. Now let's go back and revisit John Smith, MD, who earns $150,000 a year in his medical practice. Dr. Smith is a general practitioner with his own private practice, although two of his four full time employees are registered nurses. Dr. Smith must see his patient in person. So he works 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, attending to patients, then spends 2 additional hours a day filling out paperwork, and spends 2 Sundays of each month on business matters. The only way Dr. Smith can increase his income is by increasing his hours. But because he is already working 10-hour days, by the time he gets home, he is too exhausted to help the kids with homework or attend his son's soccer games, much less and more time to his workday. A slave to his job. True, Dr. Smith makes a lot of money, but the trade off is he's a POW, a prisoner of work. He feels trapped. He's frustrated, angry, and unhappy, but he doesn't know what to do about it. So he just keep going back into the salt mines, trading time for dollars, hoping that things will get better, but knowing in his heart they won't. That's the problem with income based on linear growth. If you are not personally doing the work doesn't get done. If the work doesn't get done, you don't get paid. And the only way to get paid is to keep doing the work over and over again. Heaven forbid the painter or the doctor even gets sick or injured and can't go to work. What does your treadmill pay? What about you? Are you on the time for money treadmill? If so, how much does your treadmill pay? Below is the list of occupations and their average yearly salary, as reported by Parade magazine in its annual report, What People Earn. Take a look at how your yearly compensation compares to other occupations. 1996 average salaries for jobs in USA. Occupation hospital janitor. Annual salary $17,000. High school teacher $33,500. Corporate attorney $85,500. Secretary $16,000. Sales clerk $10,000. President of US $200,000. Newspaper reporter $32,000. The travel agent $28,000. Physician $1,41,000. Prime Minister $23,500. Accountant $39,000. Were you surprised at how your income compares to the income of other jobs around the country? Well, you are in for an even bigger surprise when you compare your early salary in the compensation for a CEO of large company. Just take a look at how CEO pay compares to the pay of an average worker in 1996. Wage gap between CEO and workers. 1996 CEO pay is equal to $3.7 million. Worker pay is equal to $20,000. Ratio 187 is to 1. Isn't it amazing how one person at a company can be worth $3.7 million while the rank and file worker at the same company is worth only $20,000? How can that be? You may ask yourself. Breaking the time for money trap with leverage. I can answer your question in one word: leverage. You see, when a typical worker trades his time for dollars, his income is growing in a linear fashion until of time equals 1 unit of money. The worker is earning 100% of his own singular efforts. The CEO, on the other hand, leverages his time and talents through his employees. Instead of getting paid 100% of his singular efforts, he makes a percentage of all his employees' efforts. That's what J. Paul Getty was getting, and when he said, I'd rather earn 1% of 100 men's efforts rather than 100% of my own. That's why leverage is so powerful. You earn a little bit from the efforts of a whole bunch of people. A classic example is the Hershey candy bar. Hershey's net profit on each candy bar is only a penny or two at most, but they sell billions of Hershey's bar worldwide each and every year. That's why the maker of Hershey candy bars, Mars Inc., is able to post profit of $1 billion plus a year in and year out. And that's why the CEO of Hershey makes big bucks. The Hermit and the Chainsaw. The concept of leverage is like the story of Hermit and the Chainsaw. One day an old hermit came down from his cave in mountain to buy a saw at local hardware store. I am moving out of my cave and building myself a new log home, the hermit proudly announced to the young sales clerk. I need the best saw you got, and price is not an object. The young sales clerk disappeared into the warehouse for a moment before returning with a gleaming new chainsaw. This is the best saw on the market, the sales clerk said confidently. It will cut through trees like a knife through butter. I guarantee it will cut a month's worth of lumber in a day, or I'll personally refund your money from my paycheck. The excited hermit paid the clerk, grabbed his gleaming new chainsaw by handle, and headed back up the mountain. Exactly 1 month later, the young clerk was busy stocking shelves when he heard the hermit's voice crack through his ear like a whip. Hey, Sonny, I've come to return this saw and get my money back, like you promised. The clerk looked up to see the old hermit but was shocked at what he saw. The hermit looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. His clothes were shredded and stained with blood and sweat. He looked like he'd be worked half to death. What happened to you? The clerk stammered. You look terrible. The old hermit summoned all his strength and lifted his chainsaw onto the counter, grumbling, "It's this dead bun saw you sold me? You said it would cut a month's worth of lumber in a day. Well, I have been using this contraption for 30 days, and I ain't ever been able to cut a day's worth of lumber in a month. I want my money back." The startled clerk apologized and said, "Sure, a deal's a deal. Just let me have a look at this saw for you. Maybe I can figure what's the wrong." The clerk gave and pulled rope a quick yank, and the chainsaw exploded into a roar. The hermit jumped back from the counter like he'd been shot, shouting over the roaring, "What's that sound?" A lesson about leverage. Can you imagine trying to cut down a tree with a chainsaw that wasn't even turned on? No wonder that hermit looked beat up and worn out. The story brings home the point that leverage is an awesome tool, but only if we put it into use. The chainsaw is obviously a great tool for leveraging time and effort. If you ever tried to cut up a big tree limb using a handsaw, you know exactly what I mean. The irony of the story is the hermit had in his hands powerful tool for leverage. He just didn't know how to use it. In other words, his failure didn't result from a lack of talent or effort. His failure resulted from a lack of knowledge. The same can be said for the average person. Through the power of leverage, we can accomplish our goals in a fraction of the time with a fraction of the effort. We can, in effect, cut a month's worth of lumber in a day. But in order to take full advantage of leverage, we have to have knowledge that it exists. Otherwise, we'll end up like the hermit. We'll still try to get ahead working harder, trading time for dollars, instead of working smarter by leveraging our time and efforts. Isn't this way by age 65 the average person will be dead broke, or dependent on the state, family, or church? Too many people are copycatting a linear plan instead of leveraged plan. Knowledge is the first step. By copying the right kind of leverage in the right situation, we can move mountains and we can make millions. The question is, what system of wealth creation do you want to copycat? Do you want to continue to copycat the linear system of wealth creation and end up like the old hermit, trading lots of effort for a little return? Or would you like to be like the young clerk and learn how to turn on the chainsaw for leverage? That's what you will learn in the next chapter. Proven ways we can leverage our time and effort so that we break out of the time for money trap forever and claim the financial independence that we deserve.